Love in the time of COVID-19. The pandemic has brought new meaning to the famous wedding vow in sickness and in health.
And in tonight's cover story, WGN's Mike Lowe explores the pandemic's impact on romantic relationships.
Someday we'll be walking in here, right?
When a man is ready to get down on one knee, nothing can get in the way.
No.
Well, almost nothing.
Forever?
Neither a passerby nor a pandemic can stop true love, but the situation made Tyler Rampey's proposal to Laura Chopek a bit more difficult to orchestrate.
Luckily, I was able to get that right before everything shut down. It made it pretty much impossible to really make a plan.
The COVID-19 pandemic is changing relationships and romance in ways we've never seen.
We should FaceTime them with champagne.
Okay.
We took so much for granted, simple things like handshakes and hugs, even seeing facial expressions.
Yeah, yay.
Lives of intimacy and togetherness are now disrupted by distance and isolation.
We're engaged.
Are you kidding?
My dream was always to come back to Chicago.
30-year-old Lucas Seiler was working in public relations in Miami.
I decided that it was a good move for me to come back.
When he returned home in January, he planned on staying with his parents for a while until he could find a place of his own.
Then on an inhale, let's all come up to the ball of the feet.
He also met former Northwestern University swimmer Tony Matar.
Thought he was really cute. I didn't actually know if he lived here or not, but we just started talking, and obviously he's really into fitness, just like I am.
Inhale down.
By Valentine's Day,
Exhaling up.
they made it official. Weeks later,
We must enact an immediate stay-at-home order for the state of Illinois.
quarantine.
Since his parents are older, we kind of all came to a consensus that it was probably not the best idea for him to come back, because we've been going to this grocery store, and because of the incubation period, you don't know if you have it.
Got a meeting scheduled for Thursday next week.
Roughly 6 weeks after meeting for the first time, they were not just together, they were always together.
It is a little bit wild that being together in quarantine is a little bit different than even fully living together when both people are going to work, because we're pretty much together 24/7.
If we can handle being around each other literally 24/7, it must be working out, yeah.
Dima Abdella and Tony Bishop are dating long distance with social distance.
A lot of conversations about communication.
Like how to do it, when to do it, even the timing, with the space, and what do we even talk about?
Like a lot of southern places, our data is showing most people are like, I won't wear a mask.
Research and opinion expert Caben Clausen is the founder of True Public, a polling firm that has surveyed Chicagoans about love in the time of COVID-19.
And what happened was when isolation first started, very interesting, relationship happiness actually had a slight bump. And I think it was the novelty of something new. But over the last weeks, it's just been deteriorating more and more. In the city of Chicago, 39% of people are now saying we're having significant strains in our relationship.
It's been difficult for Joanna Sterna and Reza Afrasiabi, who have been dating for 3 years.
It has made seeing each other more difficult. We typically would hang out in restaurants and different night spots that we don't hang out at anymore. So that's some new challenge.
But the biggest challenge is Reza's job. He's a critical care doctor at St. Joseph Hospital in Lincoln Park, working with COVID-19 patients. So, for safety, she had to move out.
I've had to move to the suburbs just for the safety, not to leave you high and dry, but I had to retreat.
People who are single, it's really interesting. In Chicago, 47% of them are breaking isolation. These are 16 to 35-year-olds. They're breaking isolation to meet a crush, a potential date, a partner. So people are mingling and dating, and our data shows that dating app usage is up.
Michael Tamaris,
currently I'm single,
is one of them. The 31-year-old has been on pandemic dates that consist of socially distant walks with women.
Done a couple of them. It's nice to go out and meet other people, but it's definitely difficult when you don't give a hug hello to someone or you don't hug them goodbye. It's hard, right, because you don't have a lot of creative ideas or things that you can do or ways to reach out, and it's a true test to get to actually know someone right before you meet them and get to actually know who they are. It's not easy to do.
I can't imagine anything worse than dating, pandemic or no pandemic.
One of us gets sick, it's just inevitable that the other one will catch it as well. You can't socially distance in any way.
The question is, are we going to have a baby boom or divorce boom? The story is this: most people are seeing intense strains. The longer this is going, the more couples are challenged by it.
And he says the division of household chores is the leading cause of strain.
I cook a lot, but I think we're pretty even. Maybe like 60-40. 60 me, 40 you.
It probably works out to about 50-50. There might have been, moments where we kind of just both wanted a little bit of just breathing room, just as humans.
I think the question is going to be, as we get outside of isolation, do we snap back to reality of our old relationships, or do the strains and the pains we had in isolation break us forever?
We've tried to find the silver lining through it all.
Tyler and Laura are about to find out.
Once everything is cleared up, do a big wedding.
They're hoping when large wedding ceremonies and celebrations are once again allowed, they'll be back at St. Francis Church in Wilmette, the church her grandfather helped build, where they got engaged and where they plan to get married when the pandemic is over and there's nothing standing in the way.
We were joking that the state of Illinois should just give us a marriage certificate if we got all the way through this and we're still together.
In Wilmette, Mike Lowe, WGN News.
What are the chances that woman walks up right as they're shooting it?
Hey, Lucas and Tony, they've decided that they're going to live together forever. It's happily ever after.
Nice.
Yeah, so the quarantine worked for them.
I would imagine that at different stages of the relationship, it's harder, but at others, it's maybe more helpful because if you're more serious and thinking about getting married, this is a real test of whether this could work.
Period to see. Yeah, trial period.
Thanks, Mike.